You want to know the best teams and equipments for the new Legends Limited Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta? Sorry, Ultra Vegeta 1, but first you need to know how to use him. Important factors to note: he is a green element unit and he's also a melee type. His Z ability buffs strike attack and blast defense, but there's also additional strike defense for any Daima units on his team. He has blast armor on his strike, that's always great. His strikes and blast give -10 to enemy sustained damage cut, so he'll be doing more and more damage. His blue card can nullify endurance if there's at least 2 enemy battle members remaining, so if there's one left, it won't nullify endurance. The green card gives him cover null, and he also has a new ability where he can cancel the ceiling of Rising Rush and Arts card if it's pressed. If there's only one enemy left, he can reduce the enemy's vanishing gauge to 0% off the main ability. He's quite the supportive character too. He applies the buff effect, nullify attribute downgrades up to 2 times to allies, which means any downgrades to his teammates won't stick, and this happens 5 times, so it keeps your team's defenses high. He gets cover null pretty easily again through his strikes and blasts first time when he enters the battlefield. That resets on switch. And regarding his gauge, he has a standby gauge where it fills on standby, but once it passes 50%, he will gain a bunch of buffs. They're cancelable, but it's pretty easy to fill his gauge, as when his allies are getting hit, his gauge will charge 4% per card, and he will also heal 3%. He has no buff cancellation or endurance, but he does weaken the enemy when they do hit those big attacks, so Rising Rushes, blue cards, ultimate arts, etc. That's all you'll need to know for his kit. Let's get into the teams. So the first team we've got is Daima. Now what I want to tell you is that if you don't have the Super Saiyan Goku Mini, just forget about this team. It's not that you can't run it, but it's not going to be the easiest. The only other person I think you should sub him out for is Tamagami 3, but your team is going to be a big liability because only Vegeta will be carrying. Tamagami 3 is more of a defensive guy, and the free-to-play Goku, even though he is getting a Zenkai and can be good damage-wise, he's not one of those main guys that you'd want on the field. I use him like a main guy, but really and truly he's not. Especially if you don't have him 14 stars. I do, so for me it's slightly different, but he's a free-to-play at the end of the day. So it's going to be Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta on the leader slot, then we're going to have the Daima Goku and the Super Saiyan Goku Mini. Your other 2 options, the main other option should be Tamagami 3 and you build him defensively, and if not him, I'd suggest potentially Glorio. Glorio isn't really a good option either, especially because he's range type. It would be mixing up the team, but I think the team can do good regardless, but it depends on how much you've invested into Glorio. Most of you won't, but he is a good HP buffer, which is why I suggest if you don't have the Super Saiyan Goku, you might want to just forget about this team. The team doesn't have many options, and most of the bench isn't even Daima related unless you have all of them. So Glorio's a HP buffer, and then obviously you have the guys you're running, so the Super Saiyan Goku Mini, Vegeta, the free-to-play Goku there. The blue Goku is the worst option, and Tamagami 3 is a defensive option. So from there, you'd basically just be trying to Zenkai buff the guys that you are running. So the Super Saiyan Goku, I'll mention it later, but there's a HP buffer, which is the Kakarot Goku. Glorio's a HP buffer as well. Then you'd have the Zenkai buffer for the Vegeta potentially. There'll be like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. So there's not many options. The team is quite strict, but if I was going to run a team, oh, that might be loud, I don't think it is. I would run the free-to-play Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and Super Saiyan Goku Mini, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta on the leader slot, then give a HP buff to Daima Goku with the Kakarot Goku, that's also a Zenkai buff, run the Gohan, you know. I'm focusing on the main 3 because I'm going to get to bench later, but because the team is so minimal, I'm just giving you the full setup, you know. And then of course Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who's also a Z ability for everybody, and a Zenkai buffer for the free-to-play Goku, and of course Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. But that's Daima. It's a very strict team, but it's very good if you have all the pieces. The second option for a team we've got here is Vegeta Clan, and I'll be glad to tell you that even though it's been swept under the rug for the longest time, Vegeta Clan has a bunch of options. So if you like this team, it's easily runnable and it will be top tier, I'm telling you. So my options here, I'm using this Angel Vegeta because I don't have Ultra Margin Vegeta. I know it sucks, but I have Sword Hulk Trunks. A lot of people sleep on him. He's great. He's being used a lot as well. So if you have him with his Plat, the Zenkai 2, run him. He's great. And then of course we'd have the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, who would be the 3rd slot on this team. Very nice picks. In my opinion, it keeps it melee orientated too, like you'd want to do, because he is green and melee orientated. Now let's go into the character list so I can show you the characters I don't have, some that I do have that also are good. So if we look at the blues here, in the blues, if using Super Vegeta was still on the boost, you could use him, but otherwise I wouldn't recommend. Sort of hope Trunks going to be your best option out of the guys I have anyways. There's some at the bottom I don't have, which I'll get into. In the green section, out of the ones I have, they're all pretty buns. I wouldn't recommend any of these guys. In the purple section, we've got potentially blue bros, and this Vegeta could very much be good for you. He's actually pretty solid. A 1% sparking with a good Zenkai is a good support layer. He can help you out a lot if you do have him. 14 stars, Zenkai as well, very nice. In the yellow section, I wouldn't recommend anybody there that I have anyways. Even Fusing Gogeta Blue is probably a liability, I wouldn't use them. And then the reds I have, they're all liabilities as well. But out of the ones I don't have, which are some good options, Ultra Margin Vegeta. People tried to push him out, he can still be used, but of course, because of Cell, he isn't as valuable, but he's still great, don't get twisted. We got Gohan and Trunks. Grunks, whatever you want to call them. Blue and purple, 2 elements, super nice. Super nice. Do not sleep on them, especially once you get the succession over. Trunks is scary. Love them. This 1% Trunks, if you summoned, I believe this was on the Super Saiyan Goku banner, this Trunks is crazy. The Disrupt is crazy, and he can do some crazy damage too. Overall, just a great unit. And someone I will actually have input on, but I'm not pushing, but a lot of people might actually find that this unit is better than meets the eye. You see this Vegeta here? This Vegeta here is a sleeper option, can tank quite a bit, good support layer on the team, nothing crazy, but if you have them and you want to run a red, you don't have the Trunks for example, that guy is an option as well. So yeah, that's it for Vegeta Clan, some good picks, not the best in the game, but there are some that are very high tier, and if you have the pieces, you will have a good time with Vegeta Clan for sure. The third and final team that we have for this video is Saiyans, and it's a mix of the other 2 teams I showed you. It's Daima, and it can also be Vegeta Clan, and it can also be both. In this team, we've got Margin Vegeta on the leader slot. I don't have him, so I've got the Angel Vegeta there. We'd have the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta second, and then we've got the Daima Goku. Just based on the characters I have, I'll show you based on some characters I don't have too, but these are the first 3 I'm giving you guys. So let's go to the character list so I can show you the options. So we're looking at blue here. Some characters people have forgotten about, and they can be used, you just have to build them correctly. So for example, Ultra Super Gogeta, add that plat on, he might give you some good results, but be wary. One thing I really dislike about Saiyans is that because there's so many of them, it's like the base standard for Dragon Ball, you know, Goku and Vegeta. Because that's the case, a lot of these Saiyans don't buff each other. So some of them might be Saiyans, but they buff movies. Some of them might buff Cell Saga, Buu Saga. Some of them might just buff Future. You know, they're all Saiyans, but be wary of their Z abilities, because if their Z abilities aren't intersecting well, the team's not going to work out for you. And you want to hold that in mind very dearly. So Ultra Super Gogeta I mentioned, I think he might buff Saiyans, but you even have to consider his Ultra ability, which is for Fusion Warrior. He buffs Super Saiyan, and then there's Saiyan at the end as well, for strike, attack, and defense. You know, you gotta be careful about those things. Anyways, that was a lot of rambling. I spoke about fusing Super Vegeta over here. If he's still on the boost, you should check. Even, in fact, I'll check for you. I'll check for you, you know. I can't be saying that and not checking. Look, he's still on the boost, but he might come off soon. On the boost, he's pretty solid. I've been using him. Let's go to the character list again. Going forward, going outside the blues now in the greens. The greens are not looking great. You also have to bear in mind, you don't really want to run another green. We've got Goku, of course. Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is going to be a green. So maybe you want to double it. The Daima Goku could be good. People might be thinking of Vegeta, but he's a ranged type, so that won't synergize the best. You got to think about things like that, and even the Z ability as well, which makes it harder to sync certain things. We move into purple. The Vegeta I spoke about already. Blue Bros could be an option. People saying G4 is making a comeback. It's because of Cell. Hey, he might be a good option to counter things. His counter, you know how it works. That might be good for you, but that's down to you guys. I think he's usable, but be very careful because he can still get sniped by yellows. In the yellow section, we've got GB over here, mind the Z abilities. We've got, out of the ones I have, everybody else pretty much sucks, I'm not gonna lie. That's tough. Going into the reds, we got Daima Goku. Daima Goku, that's pretty much it. And then the characters I don't have, which is a lot. We've got God Goku, very good unit, very, very good. We've got Turles, amazing. We've got Ultra Margin Vegeta, magnificent. We've got the Super Saiyan 2/3 Goku, still nice if you want to run double green. The Super Saiyan Goku instant transmission, just be careful with him because he's quite glass, you know, he's easy to break through, but if you on the offensive end, he can be solid. And I wouldn't really recommend the rest based on all the options I've already mentioned. So that's everything for Saiyans. Let's get into some leader slot, bench, and then equipments. So now we're going to be getting into some leader slot options. I've mentioned a lot of these guys already, but I'm still going to bring them up again for the leader slot, depending on how you want to run teams. Maybe you want to go for something completely different, you know, and actually just leader slot Super Saiyan 3 Goku instead. So they might give you ideas on guys that can be used around this new, I said Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. You can put guys accordingly to what you have. So we got Beast Gohan, should go without saying, Beast Gohan's crazy, Special Beam Cannon, cool. We got Ultra Majin Vegeta, I mentioned him before, but he's also just very solid, should be good. We got Ultra Turles, having that blue with comeback, not just a blue in general, but blue in comeback, can be solid here. People will still be running Ultra Cell, so bear that in mind. We've got Ultra Cell here. Now I know he's a range type, but his stats are quite balanced, and because his stats are balanced, if you ran him on a melee orientated team, you can still make the most of him because he's still the newest Ultra in the game, which makes him good enough, you know. He also has endurance, and the nullification of endurance is also solid from him. We've got here Grunks, Trunks and Gohan, Gohan and Trunks. Having that succession revival second life layer is always going to be nice. Plus there are two elements which is solid as well. When they get to the succession side, Trunks is very, very good, but also having the purple is now going to be a plus, whereas before it was more of a negative because of how powerful yellows were. Here we got the Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, just another green option if you wanted to go double green with the Zenkai buffs. They will feed off the same ones. We've got Super Saiyan Goku Mini here. Just to go without saying, he was on Daima, so he was already mentioned, but he's still nice. And that's going to be the last one actually, so yeah. Those are the leader slot options. Let's get into some bench options now. Right, so we got the bench option here, and there's not a lot, but they are very good options. And most of the bench anyways will be built up by the people that you're going to be having on the team. With Diamond specifically, the Z abilities are enough to carry, but with other teams, you should just put Zenkai buffs around the other characters that you're going to be using, because there'll be Z abilities regarding Saiyans in most cases. But this is about the new Vegeta. So we've got Glorio here, who's a HP buffer for Daima, very valuable. We've got Kakarot Goku here, who's a HP buffer for Goku, and he Zenkai buffs Saiyans that are red. So Super Saiyan Goku, the red one, Mini, eats off this. So make sure to have Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta on the leader slot if you want him to benefit off this Kakarot Goku. We've got this Goku Mini here who's getting a Zenkai. He's going to Zenkai buff the Vegeta, but he's also going to be a good ally because of his Z ability and being on the team. Then we've got this Super Saiyan 3 Goku here who Zenkai buffs Green Saiyans. His Z ability ain't the best, but of course he's a good option because he Zenkai buffs the Vegeta. So now we're going into some equipments, and we're going to start with this one here. The Ha! It has Super Saiyan Goku on the front, and it's restricted for Daima or Weapon Wielder, so Vegeta can use this. You get HP on the first slot, which is nice. Then you get Blast, Attack, Base, and Strike while getting Pure. Now, every time I do one of these videos, people ask what's the difference between Pure and Base. You want to think about Pure Attack as a multiplier and Base as the base number. So if you get a lot of base, you're adding numbers, but when you multiply, it just gets exponentially bigger. So if it says to strike attack and there's no base before it, you want to have that as a multiplier. Now, you don't want a lot of pure. You want to have maybe one pure equipment, and then the rest of your equipments be base stats. So you build up a lot of base, and then you add the multiplier on top, and then you'll get an even bigger number for your stats. So one pure is good, and this one is restricted for having a Daima Super Saiyan. So if you're running Super Saiyan Goku Mini on the team, then you'll be able to get this, or you can have one Super Saiyan on the team and one Daima character on the team. I believe that's how it works. Let's just keep it to play safe. Make sure you're running Super Saiyan Goku Mini. So it says Daima and Tag Super Saiyan, right? Is a battle member, and implying both. And you can get this from the dual coin exchange shop. We've got this equipment here ready for battle. Base blast defense, special move damage, health restoration, which is nice. And then we've got strike attack on the bottom slot. It's just for Daima. Some good stuff all around, especially because Vegeta is able to nullify endurance from his blue card, and you can get this from the Ultimate Equipment Collection, normal Daima. This one here is a Vegeta Clan Pure. It's a pure just like I showed you the first equipment, but for Vegeta Clan. But instead of getting base strike attack, you get base strike defense, but the special move damage is nice because, like I mentioned earlier, Vegeta nullifies endurance off of the blue cards as long as there's 2 enemies alive. So we've got this one here, and you can get it from the dual coin exchange shop if you're running Vegeta Clan, specifically this one here. We've got this equipment here. It's not the greatest, but it gives you some big stats, you know. HP is always amazing, but then the strike attack and blast attack is pretty plain, especially when you have those other equipments that can give you multiple things. But if you got it, you should use it. If you don't have any of the other ones, miniaturized Goku, you can get this from the Ultimate Equipment Collection for normal Daima. And to end off the video, I want to just point out that there's most likely going to be other equipments which we don't know about yet. They won't drop tomorrow. There is a bonanza going on, I believe. I don't know if it's going to start tomorrow, but there is going to be a bonanza. And there'll probably be a bigger update on Wednesday, where they will release stuff regarding co-op possibly changing, dual coin exchange shop, more equipments, you know. So if equipments do release things, awaken, new ones drop, be mindful that they will probably be good and tailored towards this Vegeta, because this Vegeta is releasing on a Friday. You know, that's not normal. So odds are we'll get an update in the following week, and that's where we'll see more equipments. So these ones might not be the most optimal. At the moment, they pretty much are, but at the time, you know, Wednesday come, there could be new ones, so consider them very much so. But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of the video. I did my best to help you out with the best teams, equipments, leader slots, bench options that you can have for this new Legends Limited Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. He's not even mini, they just completely skipped it. I find that so bizarre, but it's crazy. I like it too. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press the subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one, man.